Welcome to our show. This is the Chronicles of the Immigrants, where we talk about the daring moves that immigrants have made to cross over from a familiar place that they call home to go and start a new life abroad. We're going to look at the various challenges that immigrants face and also their resilience. We're going to look at it, and we look through all this through the eye of a particular individual. And for today, we have a special host, a special guest, sorry. His name is Pastari Mandari, and he's going to tell us where he comes from, what he's doing, how he ended up here in Canada. It's going to be an interesting story. And Mandari, he has a very successful restaurant. Actually, when you need Swahili food, you want to feel like you're right back in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Uganda, in Somalia. He has a very nice restaurant. At the end of this show, he's going to tell us about it and the kind of menu they have there. So, as we are going to dive into this particular show, we want to remind you that this show is brought to you by Emergency Movers, and the contacts are going to be shown somewhere up here or somewhere down here. So, Emergency Movers is a moving company that is based in Edmonton and offers full service moving services. So, without much further ado, we are going to introduce our guest, Bwana Mandari. Thank you for coming to our studio today. Welcome.
Thank you.
Feel free
Thank you for
and tell
welcoming
us
to your
about your
studio.
story. So you can tell the audience who you are, where you come from, and how you find yourself here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
My
welcome.
name is Pastori Mandari. I'm actually from 100% made in Tanzania.
Made
Um,
in Tanzania.
yes,
Good.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So my parents, both of them, are coming from north part of Tanzania, which is Kilimanjaro. They're
Oh
from that
wow, the
region. Yeah,
beautiful.
so we are called Wachaga tribe. So I came to Canada May 27, 2017, exactly date I remember. um, but my story didn't start there. Of course, I did grow up in Tanzania. I went to school in Tanzania. When I finished high school, I went to United States. I was in DC for a year and a half. Then I moved to Houston, Texas, where I spent more than 14 years there. And I had 3 kids there. I was working and I stumbled to business. I was doing business. I was mostly in tax business. And by 2011, at that time, I realized I didn't have, I couldn't get papers. I've tried and I couldn't get papers. So I put this move in place where I was like, I'm gonna go to Africa in 3 years. So by 2014, summertime, I went back home. I went there. I had a big dream of starting business. So when I got there, there was a lot of challenge. I was in because when I left, I was in naive. I was like, really a teenager, just finished my teen years.
Mhm.
So I'm going back as a grown man and married man. So I had that still mentality like I was 20-year-old kid when I left Tanzania.
Mm.
So when I got there, things were very different. I was so
So
humble. I was
so
really
you
humble by
so
how different
you
things
said
were.
you're 100% made in Tanzania,
Yeah,
and you come to United States. You go
yeah,
back with children,
yeah.
100% made in
United
USA.
States, yes.
So I think so at some point I'll let you continue with your introduction. At some point, please, we'll want you to touch on what are the challenges or what difference do you notice between the children who are 100% made in USA and those who are in 100% made in Tanzania.
So, and that's
Yeah.
a very easy question, right? Because when I grew up, I went to a public school, so there was not, and it was mostly free education, except middle school, I went to private school. But in high school, I went again to a public school, which, because the government's funded school.
Mm.
But when you come from United States, your kid you cannot send them to public school.
With
You know,
the
because that's like it would be too much for them to just absorb that because
okay.
there's so much difference,
Hmm.
the standards of living, all that. So that was my biggest challenge when I went back. I was trying to maintain this
Standards
status
of the
quo,
U.S.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
to keep that standard.
Mm,
So mostly what all the funds that I have will get depleted because I was trying to maintain standard,
mm-hmm.
but I wasn't making a lot of money in business.
Mm.
But the good thing I did stumble into restaurant business, which was the
Wow.
only
So you
business.
didn't start it here in Edmonton.
No, I started
Okay.
when I
Mm,
was, yeah. So I opened a place called Ripella, and that one was doing really good.
mm-hmm.
But it wasn't enough to cover my family expenses because Africa people, we love family. So you have a lot of extended family that lives with you
Mm-hmm.
that you have to take care. Is in our culture, so it's not something like you can have your mental just because you live abroad. When you go back, does not mean you're abandoning your culture. So
Mm,
you have all these people that you have to take care, that look up to you, and then you have to help, and then you have your own family,
mm-hmm.
and then you have your own challenge. So
Yeah.
so I was doing that, and then I had truck business, but the truck was not doing good at all. So I even tried one time to do commodity, like I was doing selling commodities, but that one didn't go so well either.
Mm.
So the only
So
thing that was working was the restaurant.
okay, if I can interrupt you a little bit,
Yeah,
you you went to Tanzania, a restaurant was doing good,
yeah,
but you say trucking business was not doing fine.
no,
But when we look at the situation here
yeah,
in well, I want to say in Canada,
yeah,
is an industry that I'm familiar with.
yeah.
Trucking business it's really good. It's a very popular business. What makes it not work in Tanzania, but it makes it do well in
That is a very
North
good.
America?
That's a very good question. So I don't even think it was just the truck business itself. I think it was me.
Hmm.
Um, I bought the truck and I took it back home, but I didn't know nothing about trucking.
Hmm.
It was just someone who told me like, "Yo, you bring the truck here, you make money."
Yeah.
So I didn't know nothing about trucking. So I
Hmm.
hired a driver, and the first time you go to a trip,
Hmm.
the car got into a wreck. That's the first trip.
Whoa, that
Yeah.
is.
So now I have to spend money to fix the truck, and then he
Mm,
ran away.
mm.
So 2 months in again, all my tires busted.
Oh
So
boy.
so I was like, okay,
So
maybe I need.
why are the tires busting? Is it that the roads are bad or the tire
It's a
quality
combination of all
was?
of it. The
Mm-hmm.
driver,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't getting a good drivers,
Mm-hmm.
and then on top of that, maybe they were putting too much weight on the truck too.
Oh.
Yeah, so
uh,
so I think it was combination. So it's a
okay.
lot. It's a lot there. It wasn't just
Mm.
one factor. I think it was multiple factors.
Okay. So there's this
Yeah,
issue of not following the standards,
yeah,
which finally depletes or it
yeah,
wrecks.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, because here you have to follow standards.
Yes.
You've been in the business just a little bit. You have to follow the standards, and yeah, that one helps a lot. And the roads are
I
good.
mean, they're not the best, but
Yeah.
but there's people there with trucks that are making money. So it's
Okay.
just that's why I come back to me and I'm saying maybe
It was
because I
about
didn't
you.
have experience, so I
Okay.
was being taken advantage.
Mm.
Because I just got into a business because someone had told me, not because I have a passion for, it, I have experience for it.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah,
So as a businessman, because
yeah,
you have been, it sounds like you've been in business all your life, from taxi to trucking in Tanzania, restaurant, and now
and
you're in
commodity.
restaurant.
Yeah, yeah.
What could you advise those people who are uh, here in Canada or in the diaspora? What should they do when, like, people come and they're thinking of doing work, and then they start a business? So, what advice could you give them? Just look at a friend and say, "Oh, John is doing nice over there, so he has a truck. Should I go? Let me go with the truck." Or should you? What should be the secret ingredient, the secret soup to succeed, especially when you want to work here and maybe invest back in your home country or even here, because this is home now. what advice can you give somebody who is thinking of, I need to work and then invest in the business and be my own boss?
Okay, I can answer the way I did it.
Hmm.
So I can give you my example. So
Yeah.
when I came to Canada, I already knew I was gonna start a restaurant business because the 3 years that I was in Tanzania, I was in restaurant business, and I realized it was coming so easy for me, like the cooking, the front, the back, like it was everything would just make so much sense to me.
Hmm.
So so that was a good thing for me going back home. I kind of realized my passion.
Hmm.
So since I already knew that was my passion when I came here,
Hmm.
I didn't go to camps. I didn't go to look for construction job.
Hmm.
I went to look for restaurant job because
Hmm.
I know that's the industry I wanted to be in.
Hmm.
So I need to go there and learn how they run a restaurant
Hmm.
here.
Hmm.
So luckily, I ran into Frank, who owns Kilimanjaro,
Hmm.
and I kind of begged him for a couple of months. He
Hmm.
finally gave me a job,
Hmm.
and that's when it started for me. Because now
Okay.
I start learning from someone who has a restaurant how they
Hmm.
run a restaurant here.
Hmm.
Because yes, you can know how to run a restaurant in Tanzania, but it's not the same as running a restaurant in Canada.
Hmm.
Because there's the laws, there's all kind of stuff that we
You
don't
have
have
to
to
abide
follow
by
in
standards.
Tanzania that
Yeah.
you have to follow here.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
you can't learn, you have to learn those things.
Mm.
So I was there with Frank for 2.5 years. That's what I was just learning.
You're learning.
Yes,
Okay.
I was learning.
All right. All right. So if I can follow your train of argument, you need to have a passion, and then you also need to learn the tricks. That's why you went to Kilimanjaro to learn the tricks, and also you had that passion. So it's not just a question of, oh, James is succeeding, let me also go do it. Yeah, it might, like you did with the truck. Somebody told you you will do it big with the truck. You went and it's like nature, or is it should fate conspired. Tires were busting and the truck was hitting, I don't know, potholes, and it was being a wreck.
I
So yeah,
know.
yeah.
So
So.
it was a learning lesson. And
Mm-hmm.
then obviously in life you have to fail to learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean I learned a lot of lesson there.
Mm-hmm.
And with the restaurant, like I said, I have passion for it. I love cooking.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I just need to learn how to run it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something that I learned from Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I
That's
give
great.
credit to
That's
Frank
great.
because
Yeah,
he gave me the opportunity and I was able to learn.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but my passion's always been was
In
cooking. And when
restaurant.
I discovered that when I had a restaurant, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I love cooking. Actually, give me peace of mind.
Okay.
So that kind of just came on top, and then everything else followed
Yeah.
from there. Yeah.
Okay, so Mandari, I don't know whether I should call you Pastori or Mandari, but
Yeah.
let me
Mandari
let
is
me let
fine.
me stick
Mandari
to
is fine.
Mandari. It's easier for me to remember. So, Mandari, you came as, should I say, a teenager or a young man, and there are quite a number of teenagers, young men who end up in the diaspora as immigrants. They're all by themselves. You didn't come with your parents or your brother and the like. So what is it like? What are the probably the challenges you faced? Teenage life is when you're at the top of the world. You know everything, but you definitely do stupid things, and at times you do smart things. So when you move to the US, what are the smart things you did? What are the stupid things you did that you can tell our audience, hey, watch out, don't do this, try to do this and do it this way, don't do it that way, so that people don't make mistakes and they find they've lost a lot of valuable time.
So when I, that's a very good question because when I got to United States, I think for the first time, I had that freedom away from parents or guardians. My cousin was there, and he was already there almost 5 years, I believe.
Yeah.
He was guiding me, but again, I'm still a a teen, like you say, so
Mm.
you're a little bit knucklehead. So I did fall into a credit card problem because I think they offered me credit
Free
card.
money.
Yeah, and I was like, I thought it was a free money, and I just used all of it.
Yeah.
And then Time to pay, I didn't pay. So from the beginning, my credit just was bad. It
You
went
know.
down the drain.
Mm.
I was living with my cousin and my best friend. I think he came a year after me, and then we were just going out, just drinking. We were just wow. And he kind of, at the point, he got so tired. He said, "I'm gonna move out and just let you guys live here," because
It was kind of a total
we were too
mess.
much. Yeah, we were too much for
Yeah.
him.
Uh-huh.
At that time, we're like, what is, it's not fun. In my mind, we was thinking like, oh, he's acting over mature, but he's
Mhm.
because he's been there 5 more years before we got there, so
Yeah.
he knows. And then it's funny because when me and my friend were there, and then we got our one of our other friend to move in, so it was three of us. We had 2 bedroom, and one of our friend just put the fries in the pan, and he went to buy food. So I'm sleeping, and then there's alarm everywhere,
Mm.
and there's people coming, and the house is burning, apartment is burning
Whoa.
down. Yeah, it's a real story.
Uh,
So I'm because I think when the smoke is coming, like when you're asleep, you can't tell. Because I
mm.
couldn't tell.
Mhm.
The day I had to pull me from the window
Mm.
because the living room was in fire.
Mm.
So the fire was there, the
That's
manager,
scary.
apartment management was there, and then we
Yeah.
got kicked out
Yeah.
2 months after my older cousin left. And
Mm.
that's when I realized, oh, okay, now I see what he was saying.
Mm.
Like we didn't know what we were doing. We think we know, but
Mm.
we didn't know. So those are kind of mistakes that I
Okay.
made.
So it's
Yeah,
like the young people, it's like watch out. The freedom
yeah,
that you get it comes with consequences if you don't handle it well, and but if you handle it well, so it's like if you were to rewind back,
yeah.
you could have had less of party.
Yeah,
And
and then maybe listen to my cousin more because he
yeah,
was giving me
he
good
knew.
advice. Really, he was
Yeah.
he was telling me the right things to do. But
uh,
I had that freedom, so I was like, oh, I have a job, I'm making my own money.
mm,
Why am I listening to him?
uh,
Like, you know,
yeah,
like yeah, I'm paying
kind
half
of
of the rent. He's paying half of the rent,
uh,
so I kind of feel
you
empowered.
feel empowered.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of feel empowered. But
uh
his advice was a good advice
yeah.
to us, but
Mm.
we didn't listen. So we got we end up getting kicked out
Uh,
the apartment.
by the way, when you were kicked out, was it easy to find an alternative landlord, or they look at your credit history and the references from the previous landlord? It happens here in Canada. Like if you go to look for a house, the prospective landlord, they tell you to give your history of where you've stayed, and at times they do call those people actually to us. So did you have any trouble getting a
So
new
we we
house after that?
we we did have a problem, but because it was three of us trying to
Mm.
get a one location, he ended up working. And the good thing, the manager of the apartment who kicked us out, he did give us a deal. He asked us to pay for the rent,
Mm-hmm.
and but we're gonna have to be out.
Mm.
But he's not gonna put like a bad report on my name because I was the only one on the lease. The other
Mm.
two were not on the lease.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
so that kind of did help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Mm.
it did cost us money.
Mm.
So yeah, because the other two were not in the lease.
Mm.
I was.
Mm.
So it looked bad on me, but them
Mm.
they were okay. So we were able to get a place, but
Mm.
that was the lesson because a lot of
So
things
it
did get burned down.
okay.
Like
So
a half of
it's
the apartment was down.
that
Yeah.
was
And then the fire people, when they come, they spray water. So even the documents all got wet. I
the
mean, it was just a mess. It was
it
a
was a
big
total
mess.
mess.
It
Okay.
was a
Yeah.
big mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it's also from what you've said, it's just like here it's just like what happens in the US is actually mirrored in most of Canada. Like if you have a bad reputation as a tenant, it goes into record and you find it hard to get
Place to
a
live.
new place to live.
Yes.
Okay, now let's go back to your initial days in US and then back to Tanzania. you came to US as a student, I guess,
Yes,
and
I did.
then
Yes, I
you
did.
stayed and you finished your college and you
No, I
couldn't.
did not. Actually, I dropped
You
out. I dropped
okay,
a year and a
uh,
half
after a
because,
year and a half.
yeah,
Uh,
because when I was there, actually they was paying me for they were paying for my school,
mm-hmm,
and then I got a bad news that I couldn't get. They couldn't help me send me the money to go to school.
mm-hmm,
So I was like, well, I'll take a break one semester and come back,
mm-hmm.
and it didn't happen.
So
I didn't go.
what happened after the break? You found there was money out there
No,
after
because
all
I was
this.
like, I was gonna go to work and save money and go to school, but the lifestyle I was living,
It could not
I
let
could
you
not, I
stay.
could not go
Uh,
back. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
so it was
Oh,
unfortunate, but it's
okay.
one of those things that, like you say,
Mm,
if I listen to my cousin because he was way ahead of us,
mm,
he was very responsible. Um, he did not do all this stuff we were doing,
mm-hmm,
and he was going to school. But
mm,
for me, I dropped out after a year and I think one semester.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you went to do various jobs,
Yes, I
and
started
you found you
doing.
could still survive without going to school. Not like in, I guess, Tanzania is just like most of Africa. You don't go to school, probably you don't get a decent
Yes,
income.
and I think
So
that's the best thing about North America, that
mm,
you can get a decent job. But is this the best situation? No.
mm,
I will advise people, if they come here and they want to go to school, get your education,
mm,
and then go get a better jobs.
mm,
Because for us, we have to do those shitty jobs,
mm.
like
Uh,
you go in the warehouse, you don't want to do, and then you have to, but
uh,
you have bills to pay, so you end
so
up
you have
doing
to.
that
All right.
because you have no option. Yeah,
Okay.
there's no other option.
Okay. So you
And
are
then
back.
because you have bills too on top of that, you
Mm,
can't just say, "Oh, I'll take this off and go do that." No. So you kind of like stuck in this cycle where you have to
mm,
work
to pay the
to pay the
bills.
bills. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So
okay.
definitely I would advise people to go to school.
And somewhere you overspend, so you rack up the bills, and you have to run back to the warehouse to do more. So
Yeah,
it's like a rat race. You keep
it is a
on.
rat race, really.
Yeah.
It is a
Okay.
rat race.
So you have come to US. You have stayed there. You realize you are not going to get your papers. You go back to Tanzania to start life afresh,
Yeah.
uh, and then you invest in trucking, which doesn't work well. You get into a restaurant, which works well, but you find, oh boy, again, no, I have to give a second shot at the diaspora. So what how did you end up thinking about Canada? Why not Australia, UK, or South Africa, or Kenya?
So the truth is, when I was there,
Mm,
I went back and I had no intention of coming back to
mm,
either North America or go anywhere else. So I was there for 3 years, but things were again like, I can see like I'm just in the red.
mm,
I'm making money, but not enough to support what was going on, like the
mhm,
family wise, all
mm,
you have extended family. So I'm asking myself, what is next for me? Because
mm,
I can see that the ship is gonna sink.
mhm,
So fortunately, like my ex-wife, then her sister was living in Canada,
mhm,
and he was like, "Well, look, you were doing very good when you're in the United States,
mhm,
and Canada, United States is the same system.
mm,
I think you are better off there than here." So she kind of planted a seed a
mm,
year before.
mhm,
And I was like, I don't know about that. I'm here. I'm in Tanzania. I'm gonna make it happen.
mm,
So 12 months in, and things are just not getting any better.
mhm,
So I was like, you know what? I'm open to that idea now. So
mm.
that's when I started looking for Canada.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mm,
and we started working on it, and finally got a visa
mhm,
on me, and she got a visa too.
mm,
And my youngest daughter, I mean, my kids are all United States, so
mm.
citizens. So
It
I
was.
came on a flight with my youngest daughter, actually.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mm.
At that time, I think she was 5 or 6.
Mhm.
And we got here. She came here too, but she kind of did not like Canada, so she
Mhm.
went back home.
Yeah.
Yeah, she went back home. So uh, I was staying with my daughter. My
Mhm.
daughter started kindergarten, and I was working, doing Amazon packages. I was doing delivery.
Mhm.
Um, then at some point, I kind of faced a challenge because I was living with people that received me here. They were good people.
Mm.
So this I came in, like I told you, May 27th. So we had
Mm.
November. I'm
Mhm.
still there,
Mm.
and I think maybe in their mind they thought I would just come and maybe move out in a couple of
Mm.
months. People here love their privacy.
Mm.
So it's in November, and it's just it got too much tension. So they told me I have to be out.
Mm.
So there's this pastor named Pastor Jamal, and he came. He looked for a place for me and
Mhm.
my daughter, and then that's when I started on my own
Okay.
with my
Mm.
youngest daughter.
Mm.
Luckily, this is around November, so by February, my ex-wife was like, I'm gonna come and get the kid,
Mm.
so you can at least have more
A freedom
to
to.
to to focus on,
Mhm. Mm.
doing things that you want to do,
Yeah.
and which was probably one of the best thing because it kind of helped me a lot because I was struggling with daycare
Mhm.
and work.
Mm.
There was good people like from Ghana that were really, these are like amazing people.
Mm.
These are amazing immigrants because they were watching my daughter for me for free.
Mhm.
Like when she come from school, they pick because their kids were going to the same school. They will pick up the kids,
Mhm.
my daughter with their kids, and then they will babysit until I get off from work and go get
Mm.
my daughter.
Okay.
I mean, these were
I
just
think I
amazing
I
people because
think
those you don't get that a lot.
yeah, you don't get
So I
that.
have to mention these people were really amazing people
Mm.
because they did that for almost 3 months.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So it's like the situation in Africa, but with a different twist. If you don't get into a network, a community that you identify with,
yeah.
for your case, it was the church, and then the Ghanaian friends. Life can be quite challenging, so to speak, because you see, like from what I get, you have to move out. You really don't know how to move out, but
Yeah,
your church pastor steps in.
yeah.
Then he kind of holds you by the hand, the good shepherd, and then he helps you to get uh, a home of yourself. And then out of this, you also build a network, or you had a network that helps you to take care of your daughter, so that you could also have time to go and hustle out there and make some money. So at least I know how you started life in Canada, and I don't know whether you can be able to compare it with the states. How difficult it was to start in the states, and how easy or difficult it was to start in the states. But the conditions also changed, because then in the states you were hot-headed, single, youth, free, but here you had responsibility. But averagely, how could you compare the challenges of life in states as an immigrant and that of Canada as an immigrant?
So excellent. So like I think you can see the difference. So when I left, when I was in United, I was a kid, obviously.
Mm.
I mean, becoming adult, so I had different mindset. But now I'm coming to Canada. I'm a grown man,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in my 40 now. I just hit 40, so I'm a grown adult.
Yeah.
So I know what is. I've been to United States, so I know what is to expect in North America.
Hmm.
So I know how to discipline myself.
Yeah.
So, but if you ask me candid, what is the difference? I would say Canada is much better for me, from my
Mm.
experience, because I'm
Mm.
going to speak from my own experience, because it was easy for me to get papers compared to the
Hmm.
United States. Obviously, I was there 16 years, I didn't
You
get it.
get nothing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so here I've been here 7 years, I already have it.
Mm.
So that's the number one thing.
Hmm.
And then second, I think the jobs here pay much better than United
Oh,
States.
really?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
because
Mm.
I've seen I've speak to people, have a business, so I see people what they.
Okay. So before we went on our short break, I had this question for you. When you have come to Canada and you are also in the U.S., how does life in Canada and in US compare for you as an immigrant? Is it better in the US or is it better in Canada? Is it easier to settle in the US than in Canada? How do the two places compare in your own experience?
Okay, so from my personal experience, I think US for me was more challenging, maybe because I got there as a kid. I mean, I was getting to my adult years. Um,
And you burned
and
the
I
house.
made a bunch of wrong decisions there,
Mm,
but they did teach me how to become the person I am today.
mm,
So, but Canada is actually to me, candidly, is much better than US. As first, I see that here they pay way much better
mm,
than US. Because when I was there, the minimum wage was like $7.
mm,
So, and I speak to folks here since I have a business. A lot of people come to my establishment.
mm.
They doing warehouse job, construction. Some of them doing landscaping. It's totally the pay rate is way higher compared to what it was in United States
Okay, I didn't
for
know that.
sure. Yeah.
Mm,
So that's one part of it.
yeah.
Yeah, and then the second part of it is the paper, the immigration paper.
Mm-hmm,
The process here is quicker compared to the states,
mm,
where like you file something and you have to wait 10 years. That's a long time. But here in 5, 6 years, you already have all your papers.
mm-hmm,
So now you're just chasing your dreams.
mm.
So from those two angles, I can say Canada is much better than US for me.
Okay.
US does have more immigrants and more population than Canada.
Mm,
I think that's the only area that US um, I can say is better than Canada. If you want to start a business, there's more numbers
mm-hmm.
compared to Canada. But for the other stuff, I'll say Canada is much better.
Okay. Let me ask you this one question. The pace of life in the US, how does it compare with uh, here in Canada? Like, let's be specific about Alberta and what province did you say?
Texas.
And Texas. How do the two places compare?
So these are two states that are kind of mirror to each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Texas don't have state tax.
Mm.
Alberta don't have province tax.
Yeah,
You see,
yeah, yeah. Actually, they call it
Texas
the Texas of
is a
Canada.
oil country.
Uh-huh.
Alberta is a oil
Oil country.
country.
Uh, yeah,
you know,
and we
so
have lots of beef.
yeah,
Texas also
they
has
have
lots
a
of
lot
beef.
of beef.
Okay,
So this is like one A, 1B.
okay,
So
yeah.
there's a lot of similarity there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe Texas is not it's not cold as Alberta. That's
Mm.
the
Yeah, yeah,
big difference.
definitely.
Maybe I can say because Texas is hot like Africa.
Mm.
Yeah, it's really hot there.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the social life, how do you compare the like? For me, I can say I landed in Toronto, and when I came to Alberta, I found the people warm and very welcoming, and I said, "Oh, this is the place." So when you compare social life and how people relate to each other in Texas and in Alberta, how do the two places compare?
So I was living in a city called Houston.
Hmm.
So Houston itself has almost 1 million Nigerian. It's a
1 million
yes, it's a
Nigerians,
population of five.
Nigerians.
Yes, it's a population of
Wow,
5 million people.
and one
So
million is
Nigerians
Nigerian.
themselves are 1 million.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's a small
So
Lagos.
it becomes like a African city, really.
Okay.
Like your
Mm.
doctors in Nigeria, your
Uh,
insurance agent in
okay.
Nigeria,
Uh,
your your lawyers in
it's a
Nigeria.
Nigerian.
So yeah, I can say that was a good thing about Houston, and that like you feel like there was a lot of there's a lot of
Mm-hmm,
immigration there. Like
mm-hmm,
there's a lot of immigrants
mm,
from different parts, but Nigerians are like the more prominent.
mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm.
and so it was more like you feel more like
More at
Africa
more
because
more
there's a
in
lot of, yeah,
Africa.
like you even your mechanic is
Uh,
African, like So
Uh,
everything you
is
do,
African.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So because almost quarter of the population is they're Africans.
Okay.
Yeah, if you combine
Oh, I didn't
Nigeria and
know.
other immigrants,
Mm-hmm.
maybe quarter of the population is
It's
African.
African now.
So
So you didn't feel a little bit.
yeah,
You could you
I
could
felt really at
feel.
home. I really
Okay.
felt.
All right.
Even
All right.
Tanzania community there is huge
It's
too.
huge. Okay.
Yeah, I think
Mm.
there's almost, I would say, 3,000
Wow, it's a
Tanzanians in
big
the
number.
city. So yeah, so
Okay.
so it's
Yes.
you feel more like African place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's I would say the difference between Edmonton and Houston, because I don't want to compare the whole province, because all the whole state of Texas, because I only lived in Houston. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't live in Austin or
Oh,
another
citizen.
small town. I
Okay.
didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe later on when I did have a house, I did move to a town called Richmond, which is
Mm-hmm.
like 10 minutes away from Houston. So
Okay.
it's really almost still
It's part
Houston.
of the greater
Yeah.
Houston.
So
Okay.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Now let's close over the border to the north and
Yeah.
talk about your life in Canada. So when you came to Canada, how did you fit in? How did you settle in? And any challenges that you could want the those aspiring to be migrants or those who are here and they're like, what do I do next? How did you experience and how can that assist those who might be watching our episode now?
So I'll answer this question in three parts. The
Mm-hmm.
first part is the beginning part when I came to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of challenges as far as like I didn't know a lot of people here,
Mm-hmm.
except the people that received me. I didn't have no other network, so I had to build that,
Mm-hmm.
and that takes time.
Mm-hmm.
The second challenge was when I got here. For some reason, my papers didn't go through straight.
Mm-hmm.
I was denied, and I had to appeal, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just a lot of stress, a lot of stress. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was so stressful. Like I was ordered to be on a deportation, really,
Mm-hmm.
and I won one day before my deportation order.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
how stressful it
So
was.
that must
Yeah,
have been nerve wracking.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
really stressful.
Mm-hmm.
The first year and a half was real stressful.
Mm-hmm.
So but I did overcome those challenges. I did, and like I say, you have to build network of people, know where to get a job, what to
Mm-hmm.
do, and I think because too, since it's easy to get paper in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
it's very hard to get advice when you go through those things because a lot of people don't go through those hard
They think
situations.
just they
So
think just
when you
go
tell them you're in
through.
this situation, like I don't even know what to tell you. Like
Uh,
I can't help you because they
yeah.
don't know. They didn't go
Yeah.
through it.
Mm.
So those were the challenges that I faced.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that some people that were there did guide me. Like I say, Pastor Jamal is a
Mm.
Tanzanian guy, is a pastor. At that time, they were going to this church called Freshman. He was the pastor there.
Mm.
He showed me a lot of guidance. He connected me to the church.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to meet some people there
Mm-hmm.
that are most of them are now my customers.
Yeah.
All because of him. Uh, so I did. That's the good thing that I did have someone
Mm. To guide you.
to guide me.
Mm-hmm.
So and I want to make sure he get his credit because he really without him I
Mm.
don't know because he told me
Could
yeah,
have
don't
been.
worry, yeah, you're going through this, but yeah, you just make sure you focus on ABCD.
Mm-hmm.
Things gonna work out,
Mm.
and it did happen.
Yeah.
And then second part is when I start working for Frank,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm start building because I know I'm gonna open a restaurant. So now I'm
Mm-hmm.
building towards that.
Mm-hmm.
So the second part is building where I
Towards your dream.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So which is I was focused. I was
Yeah.
very focused
Mm.
then. I knew how much money I needed to save to start
Mm-hmm.
the business. Where I need to learn where to get the license,
Mm-hmm.
where to get the AHS,
Mm-hmm.
city license, AGLC, all that stuff.
Mm.
Where am I gonna start the business?
Mm-hmm.
So I was focusing on that, and then a year and a half later, I kind of made up my mind. I was gonna um, open a restaurant now, so I did write a letter of resignation to Frank,
Mm.
and I was gonna open a business in Regina actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I already spoke to my business partner. Then Eddie was gonna do something in Regina, and this is COVID time.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to Regina, look for a place. We couldn't find a place.
Mm-hmm.
I was spending there almost there was 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't find a place. Like we're
Mm-hmm.
calling every numbers, everything they're saying they're selling, we are calling. It was like there was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So we come back. I'm just keep looking, and then I went to get a haircut on 82nd,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody told me, "Hey, there's a restaurant here. The guy is selling." I'm like, "Really?"
Mm-hmm. After
So
you've gone all the way to Regina.
yeah, so this happened by it's just that when you focus on something,
Mm.
it's like it's destiny, right? Things
It's
happen for you
destiny kind of
because you're so
walks
focused
your
on what you
way.
want to do,
Mm.
and God just opened those doors.
Mm.
So I'm like, really? Okay, do you have his number? So we called the guy, and he wasn't there because he closed the rest. It was closed.
Mm.
He was running, but he wasn't he wasn't there. I don't know
Yeah.
how.
Mm-hmm.
So we called him. He said, "I'll be there at 6. If you come in at 6, we can sit down and talk."
Mm-hmm.
So I got there at 6. He wasn't there. We waited 6:30. I think he pulled up. He
Mm-hmm.
opened. We got inside. Him and his wife. And after talking to him for 3 minutes, I know I was gonna get the place
Mm-hmm.
because he was telling me all the problem about restaurant business.
Mm.
And I was like, yeah, that's good for me. If you hate your business so much, that means you're ready to
You're
get
ready
out
to
of
give
here.
it out to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he explained to me like it was his wife's dream. It was not his dream really, but then she got pregnant. Now he's running.
Mm.
He doesn't like people. It's too much challenge. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
listening. I'm just taking notes down.
Mm.
And then we start talking numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And that was somewhere around November. By December, we met the landlord. We
Mm-hmm.
struck a deal, and then we start running for looking for licenses and AGLC's city license and Alberta Health Services
Mm.
license.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
that was we signed the lease somewhere around January. So by February, we start getting our licenses,
Mm-hmm.
and then off we run. We took off, and
Okay. Now you opened a restaurant here in Edmonton and
yeah,
also in Dar es Salaam, you said, right?
yeah, yeah,
How does it compare starting a business in Canada and starting a business in Tanzania? Like especially from the side of regulations
yeah.
and getting all the permits. How does it compare? Is it easier over here or is it easier in Tanzania?
It's definitely way easier in Tanzania
Mm-hmm.
because they, they don't have that many regulations, and
Mm.
and you only need one permit, and
Mm-hmm.
that's it.
Okay.
So, but here you have to get a better health.
Mm-hmm.
They have to come in,
Mm-hmm. To
approve
make
your
sure the place is
kitchen, your
suitable
establishment
for.
is yeah, is
Mm.
safe. And then on top of that, and then the fire people have to come
Mm-hmm.
and certify that you're there's a safety there.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, then you get the city.
Mm-hmm.
So while you're doing Alberta Health is at the same time you're doing the city.
Mm-hmm.
Because the city issued the license first before Alberta Health.
Mm-hmm.
So but you don't want to wait until one say yes and then start the other.
Mm.
So it's
You
like you're
can do it
doing, yeah,
concurrently.
concurring, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the city always comes first because after the city say yes,
Mm-hmm.
then the fire people come.
Mm-hmm.
They say yes, then Alberta Health come. When they say yes, then LGLC
Mm-hmm.
is the last body that come and give you your
Mm-hmm.
last license.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they say yes, that means you can sell alcohol and
Okay.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
beverages. So those that come, they come last. But when you apply, you don't want to wait until one because the city itself, I think it took us more than almost 2 months
Mm.
actually.
To get
Yeah,
approval.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the good thing when we got approved, we
Mm-hmm.
already talked to
Issue the.
Alberta Health. We already
Mm-hmm.
fill up applications. So
Mm-hmm.
when we send our license,
Mm-hmm.
they came right away for inspection.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, when we got the Alberta Health, the uh, the AGLC came a week after,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a week and a half after they came and gave us approval.
Mm.
So,
So
but
for
because all these applications were done in at the same time, yeah,
okay. So, from your experience, maybe there are people who could want to, maybe when they come over here as immigrants, they want to get into business and all that. When you were dealing with all these people, were you getting situations like well, I'm not able to come, or maybe you need to do something for facilitating. Was there something
That's
like
only in
facilitate?
Tanzania. That's only in Tanzania, not
Not
in Canada.
not
Yeah.
in
No,
Canada.
no, that was only in
Uh,
Tanzania, not in
mhm.
Canada. In
Yeah.
Canada, they just make it hard. They just ask, oh, we need police report. We need this. We need this. We need floor plan. We need
Mhm.
operation plan. It's
Mhm.
just, it's a lot of, the city place
You
has
have
a
to
lot
meet
of
the
bureaucracy.
regulations.
Yeah,
That is
the
it.
city place has a lot of bureaucracy.
Uh,
Yeah. And
okay.
then you send the stuff and they say someone will get back to you. You don't, so you have to call. So I used to call them every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think they probably have my phone number
Uh,
because I used to call every day. I'm like,
yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
because I
yeah.
know the more I'm sitting there waiting,
Mm,
I'm paying rent here and I'm not making money. So
mm,
yeah, I used to call them a lot.
okay.
Yeah,
That's
but
good.
Alberta Health, AGLC, those are were kind of like
Mm,
faster than compared to the
mm,
city being approved because they have this something called ordinance. I mean, they just have a lot of stuff that
mm, mm,
you is like a new territory for you, so you don't
mm.
understand it.
Uh,
They will explain to you, but you still don't understand. But they say, just fill up the form, okay, and then you
uh,
just do it.
you
Yeah,
just did. Okay.
yeah.
Now, Mandari, I have been to your restaurant quite a few times, and I really like the food there. It's just, and even
I'm
the
glad
all
you
of
like
my
it.
family, they just like the food at your restaurant, and actually the services too, they're very nice. Now, I could ask you this. Already you've said you went to Kilimanjaro restaurant to learn on the job. Did do you have some like formal training on making food like a cook, or it's something that you have learned like the hard way, like you are on the job and you learn on the job, or did you go
So
through some formal training?
that's a good question. So when I was in Africa and I had a restaurant business,
Mm-hmm,
that's when I kind of realized I do have a passion for cooking. So that's
mm-hmm,
when it started really, because I'll go in the kitchen and I'll be doing things that I feel I'm at peace.
mm-hmm.
I'm like, wait a minute, I feel this is the only place I feel like I'm not stressed.
Yeah.
So it kind of just came to me naturally. So
Mm,
when I came here, I was like, okay, I do need to open a restaurant. Even when Frank gave me a job, I told him my plan is to open a restaurant.
mm,
Obviously, we were planning. I was planning to go to Regina. I wasn't
mm,
planning to open here, but
mm,
things happen. So I've always, when I came here, I looked at the map and I saw there was a vacuum for Swahili cuisine.
mhm,
Like if you look at it in North America, there's all this like Italian cuisine, French cuisine,
mm.
Japanese cuisine, but you never there's no African cuisine.
Your
Yeah,
restaurant, when I
yeah,
was told there's a Swahili cuisine somewhere
yeah.
over there, we came and tried it, and we've always been trying it again and again, once too many times.
And I hope you keep coming.
Yeah.
So that's I saw a gap there. I was like,
Hmm.
okay, there is a gap here for a Swahili cuisine, like
Mm,
authentic Swahili cuisine. And how can we make this be known in Northern America? Like we have our own cuisines too.
mhm,
You know, we don't have to go to eat French cuisine. I mean, those are nice cuisines, Italian,
mm,
they look nice,
mm.
but we have our own cuisine.
Yeah.
So that's what I was trying to bring to the forefront of masses here,
Mm,
like reach beyond East Africa, just the whole world to know like there is a cuisines, the African cuisine that are delicious dishes,
mm.
nice dishes,
Yeah.
and natural dishes.
Yeah. And let me say, the first time when we came to your restaurant, actually, it was so interesting. I can remember we had nyama choma, and we were like, really, this is the thing. So we have this nyama choma. So you came and you were serving us with
The wood plates,
the wood.
plate.
Let me go back to my mindset at that time. You come with a very big chopping board.
Yeah,
So I'm waiting for you to cut the meat, and then bring a plate and
yeah.
put the meat in, so that we can start enjoying our meal. And then you set that big piece of wood, and it's like, okay, yeah, guys, enjoy.
Enjoy.
So why do you serve people with instead of a plate, you're serving them with a piece of not really a piece of it's very nicely crafted by the
Yes,
it
it
looks
is. It
nice,
is.
it
It
looks
is. It
nice.
is.
Why do you serve them with that let me say gigantic spatula?
So, because if you're gonna do anything, you have to be unique, right? So I
Mhm.
was like, what is more African than have a
That
the
giant
wood,
spatula.
crafted wood,
Yeah.
and the food is there.
Uh-huh.
I was like, nothing speak more African than that.
Then
So that was my attitude towards. I was like, I have to make it as best I can make to be
mm,
close to African as it can be.
mm,
Yes, we are far away from Africa, but we want
yeah.
to bring Africa to people
Okay.
here who are living here, who are
Mm,
going to work. They work hard every day. They take care of their family,
mm,
and at evening they want to come and get a good, delicious meal. Let's
mm.
give him that African experience, and that's where it came from.
Okay, that is actually it struck me as very 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 interesting, and yeah, maybe there's somebody watching this video. Maybe they will be coming to Edmonton from Jasper or from Vancouver or from the east as far as Manitoba, and they're coming to Edmonton and they really want to enjoy the Swahili cuisine. Where do they find you? What's the location of your restaurant?
So my address is 8815 118 Avenue Northwest. We on 118 Ave. Of course, now they call it Alberta Avenue.
Alberta Avenue,
Yeah,
yeah.
so they changed it. And my intention really, I hope in 2 years, we're going to
Mm.
change it to become African Avenue.
Uh,
Because I was in a body meeting yesterday
uh,
and someone says 70% of business on 118 they're owned by Africans.
African, so
I
yeah,
was like, well,
you feel
if
like
we
you're
get to
somewhere in
90, we
Africa.
can change it and call it African Avenue.
Uh,
But yes, I'm on 8815 118 Avenue. And I do have a lounge upstairs, which is
mm,
8819, and it's called Serengeti 2, but that one is social, and downstairs is barbecue.
is
So the
barbecue.
restaurant is downstairs, and the
And
lounge
upstairs,
is
you
upstairs.
can
And on
paint
the
a little
weekend,
bit.
we have East African DJs there playing some, African music, East African
Mm,
music. So
mm,
Friday and Saturday mostly.
okay, yeah.
So yeah, so we really trying to make sure we not only people can eat, but they have another place they can go to if they want to dance, listen to music, and meet some other African people. Because
Yeah.
that's how you network, right? You have to meet people somewhere
Mm,
to be
yeah.
able to network. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
we've been in business for 3 years now, and it's been a blessing
mm,
in the community. We They really embrace us,
mm-hmm,
all the East African, I mean the Uganda community, Burundi community, Rwanda,
mm.
Kenya community, Tanzania community,
And I
and even
guess
Congo too. Even
and I
Congo
guess
too. Even
any
Congo too.
Canadian who has been to Africa and they really
Absolutely.
want to have that taste of
I would
Africa,
say
they can.
mostly like 25% of our customer they are Canadians.
People
So
who
that
have toured.
they say, oh, I want to go taste African food, and then
Mm-hmm,
when they Google, we actually come up on top, which is good thing.
mm,
So they come to Serengeti and they always enjoy and tell their
enjoy.
friends.
Mm,
They even give us some good review.
mm-hmm,
So it's been a blessing 3 years, really.
yeah.
Coming from where I
Yeah.
came from to where I am,
Mm,
I'm really thankful. It's been
yeah.
an amazing journey,
Yeah. Okay.
and it's
Actually,
gonna continue to be.
that's good. Actually, as you've been speaking, my mind has been like my GPS has been
Mm.
loading, and the location of your restaurant, by the way, it's very strategic because if somebody is coming from Saskatchewan, that's from the east, and they're coming to the city, all they need to do is to drive to 82 on Yellowhead, and they exit south
Yes.
and boom, they are
They're
on
there.
118 Avenue. They make a what that is a right,
Yeah.
and
They make it
Serengeti is
right.
right there.
It's right there.
If it's somebody coming from Fort Mac, if they are using Highway 28A, they just come straight to Fort Road, boom,
They are there.
118.
Yes.
And if they use the barracks, the Highway 28,
Yeah.
they come straight 90. 28 becomes 97th
Yeah.
Street,
97th
boom,
Street. Yeah. There.
118.
118.
If
Yeah. There.
somebody is coming from Hinton, Jasper, Vancouver, They just come and they exit 97th Street South, boom, 118. There you. I think that that's a very
It's a
good
very good
is a very
location.
good
And
location.
then if you
Yeah,
look
yeah.
at it, like I said, there is a Kasoa there, which is the main
African market.
our main supplier really, because we buy a
Yeah.
lot of stuff from Kasoa.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do like to support our own people.
Mm.
And then
Uh,
it's right, and then there is 82nd. There's a barber shop there where a
mm-hmm.
lot of people go.
Yeah.
Like almost maybe quarter of of the Edmonton go cut their hair there, or
Uh-huh.
they take their kids there.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there to our restaurant is like 2 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
Yeah.
go cut
That's.
your hair, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
let me
Yeah.
stop by Serengeti for a couple of
Yeah.
minutes. We are 2 minutes away. If you go to
Yeah.
Kasoa, we are 2 minutes away.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really a good location.
I did notice in your restaurant. Actually, I had never seen it anywhere
Yeah,
else. Yeah, I don't drink, but when I saw you serving your customers drinks, especially beer, one for the road,
yeah.
I saw you came with a packet. It's like, with the African mindset, I could see like you are coming from the river with a packet,
Yes,
and you were going to like that packet
that's
of
how we
milk.
serve. We
Okay.
call it a bucket. So
Yeah,
because
a beer packet.
a lot of African people after they work hard all day in the evening, is I think it's our culture. I can honestly say it's our culture because
Yeah.
that's how our fathers did. They always stop at the establishment, drink one or two before they go home.
Okay. Yeah.
So we had came up with the idea for the happy hour. We can have a bucket of beer, so we can make it easy for people.
Mm.
And that has become like the biggest thing for Serengeti, yeah, because
Okay.
people love
Okay.
those buckets of beer.
Uh, so, one thing I saw when I came to your restaurant, actually, I saw you had this packet of beer,
Yeah.
and you placed in front of a customer. That's when I was like, okay, it's one guy who had ordered for that packet of beer. He was not using it as a bucket to go and distribute various. So why do you sell beer in a bucket, like maybe various brands, and then you take it in a bucket and you give the customer?
Like a lot of our people, they're hardworking people.
Mhm.
They go to work in the morning and the evening. I think is something maybe passed down from our parents, where like in the evening you stop somewhere and get one or two with your friends before you go home.
Mm.
And we felt like that would be something for happy hour. It would be something good for our people to have experience that is, make them feel more home, and we kind of just cut down the price too on our bucket. So
Oh, so when you
yeah,
buy
so
in
it's
a
really a
bucket,
happy
it's
hour
cheaper
special. Yeah, it's a
than.
happy hour special.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So and it became like our number one thing in at the
Mm,
restaurant. So that was probably our number one seller, because
mm,
is a thing that people love. They take a picture of it and they get that bucket, they
mm,
post it,
mm,
and it brings us more people.
mm,
Yeah, so he has become like he has taken its own trending
mm.
for all our patrons that come to Serengeti. Like,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's something they love about Serengeti, is the bucket of
It's a
beer.
bucket of beer. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, that's interesting. And
Yeah.
and actually, when I was there and you had that bucket, I saw like, wow, this guy has Tusker. Well, I don't drink,
Yeah.
but everybody from East Africa knows
Yes, yes,
Tusker.
yes, we do.
So,
Yes, we do.
what are the beer brands that are popular among the African clients? Which when they come and they see, they're like, when you know there's this ad that we used to have in Kenya about
Mm,
Tusker.
yeah.
Like, it has no equal, but it makes us equal. So,
Yes.
what are those beer brands that your African clientele, when they're there, they say, okay, now we got the home ground
Home ground,
advantage.
yes.
Yeah.
So clearly, Tusker is very famous to the Kenyans and Tanzanians.
Mm,
And then on the Burundian side and Rwandese, they love Amstel. So
I'm
this,
still.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the like because those beers they do come from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So people like they want to remember what they used to drink when they're back home. So
Mm.
that's why we're trying to provide that as best as we can to our people
Mm.
so they can enjoy. And for the Canadian, they're more it's more curious for them to taste something outside their country. So they're like,
And
oh,
and
this
and
is a Texas African beer. So it has really become more, even more popular too to
the
Canadians
Canadians
because
and
it's
uh,
something new for them. So
mm-hmm.
that curiosity makes them, oh,
uh,
it's really good beer. So
and and
yeah,
and I'm told the runway for the African beer is shorter than the Canadian. Like you hit the runway with Tusker, you
I
start
know,
flying quicker
I
than
know.
if
And
you were
really the
talking.
beer is bigger too, right? And then
uh,
it's bigger too. The bottle is bigger too. So
so
yeah,
you
yeah.
you get it
So
gets into
people
the
love it.
system faster.
They really do love it. Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's
And we are
interesting.
working even more trying to see if we can bring more stuff that are from home
Mm-hmm.
because we have realized that it's a good business. Because if someone come, there's maybe a Canadian, right?
Mm.
They want to eat African food, and then you tell them there is an African beer. You see,
Mm.
so the
It's the
curiosity
whole
is
thing,
bigger,
the
and
whole
then the story,
how,
it
yeah.
becomes even better. So
uh,
not only did I eat African food, I even sipped African
Yeah.
beer. So
Okay, that's interesting. So as we wind up, you have the restaurant part. What are
yes.
the popular menu items in your restaurant part that make people feel in Africa or
So our
even in Canada? Yeah.
so our number one item there is clearly is a goat. It's called goat in chopo. That's the number one item. And then we have nyama choma. That's number two.
Mhm.
And then we do have a beef sausage. That's number three.
Beef sausage. Is it
Yes.
farmer's
Yeah, it's
choice?
come from farm, so we get it from Regina. So it
Okay.
comes really from
Oh, I
farm.
thought it
Yeah.
comes from Limuru.
No, no. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll be able to
Uh,
get the
uh,
sausage from Africa
uh,
to here.
okay.
And then chapati is actually it's rounded up the top four.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
our chapatis are the
And what
best.
about fish? Tilapia.
We have tilapia fish.
Uh-huh.
So that'll probably be top five.
Mm.
Yeah. So for
Okay.
those who love seafood, we do have a tilapia fish. And
Okay.
then we on those who like green, we have skuma, and then we have spinach,
Mm.
cabbage.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much. And for those who have been listening to our program, this is Mandari. He has a restaurant initially from Tanzania. And as we are going to wind up, we're going to ask you, Mandari, what advice, finally, to wind up, what advice could you give to somebody who is eyeing to come to Canada and those who are already in and they want to settle and follow their dream the way you are doing right now?
So before I answer that question, I wanted to remind people we do have ugali too. So because I know
Oh,
as East
yeah,
Africa
yeah.
without ugali,
Without ugali, it's not complete.
things
Yeah.
don't go well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my advice to people when they do come here, number one, I think you do having a mind, what do you want to do when you get here? So you don't end up getting lost in like you're trying to figure out this, figure out that. At least if you have in mind, like I'm gonna go to Canada, maybe I wanna go to school first and focus on that. Or
Hmm.
maybe I wanna work on get my papers first, focus on that. Or maybe I wanna start a business, then ask yourself, what kind of business?
Hmm.
Okay, this is a business I want to start. Okay, learn about that business. Okay, then trying to meet people who are already doing their business so you can get more knowledge about them or the challenges they face on their business before you jump into their
Hmm.
business. Okay, and then last thing, follow your dream. If your dreams to say maybe like me start a restaurant, then follow that
Focus
dream
on it. Yeah.
because you will get discouraged by other people.
Mm.
But as long as you focus on what you want to do, you're gonna get there.
Mm.
But don't forget the hard work is the big part of it because I
Hmm.
think sometimes people see things, the end product, they don't see all the
The
work that is
process.
done.
Yeah.
So, but if you want to start something, you have a passion for it, just know that you pull up your sleeves and work hard for it. And To be honest with you, in Canada, sky is the limit. This is the best country you can be if you want to start a business, or if you have any kind of dream, entrepreneur. I don't know, kids today they have all these TikToks or any kind of stuff. So I'm not just saying you gotta do a restaurant. Anything
Yeah,
that
it's a
you
land
wanna
of
do, you have to put
opportunity.
your mind into it because
Mm.
this is the best country to be in at this moment. This
Yeah,
is the best country to be in,
yeah.
and your dreams will flourish.
Mm. I do concur with you. At least we've seen people who have come to Canada and they have really made it big time and they are doing very well. So, Mr. Mandari, thank you very much for coming. Thank you for the good advice. And as always, you're always welcome. I guess at some point we will look for you again to come back to our studio and talk
Absolutely,
specifically about business,
absolutely.
so that people can know how to navigate around and make it in business. So, viewers, thank you very much. This has been the Chronicles of the Immigrants, where we look at the crazy, the normal, and anything in between, where people just decide to take a flight. Most of them come with a small handbag. You came with a small handbag,
Yes, I did.
but now if you go
I'm
back,
doing.
if you were to go back, you go back with the containers.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so this is the place to make it, as long as you are focused. As Mandari, our guest, has said, you need to be focused, follow your dream, and this is a place whereby your dreams can come true. And he has had an opportunity of comparing life in US and life in Canada, specifically Texas and Alberta. And as he said in this program, he sees that Canada is way better. So those who are planning to come, welcome. Those who are in, listen to some of these videos, and always remember to share and subscribe. We really need your support so that we can grow and share this insightful information that will help people settle in Canada. So, viewers, as we sign out, hit the subscribe button below so that you can be getting more of these videos on how people have come to Canada and they have made it. So from this moment on, we want to say bye bye. We shall be bringing you more episodes, very interesting, some crazy, some moderate, some life touching. So for now, we want to say bye bye, and remember this program is brought to you by Emergency Movers. We do residential moves, commercial moves,